Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. You're at the spot, the place, where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Did you bring your thinking caps? It's time to put them on, because the conversation starts now. Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. You're back at the spot, the place where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Today we are going to Canada, Saskatchewan, or Regina. They say Regina, we say Regina. And we're going to talk to Tess Boehm. And she's going through a lot right now, Brains, and we're going to support her as well as she is going to support us. We're going to talk about wellness. We're going to talk about transition. We're going to talk about family and growth. Health and wellness is the hallmark of life. If you don't have your self together, your feelings, your emotions, your wellness, everything else falls pale to comparison. So she's going to help support us with that, and maybe we'll be able to support her as well. Let's welcome her to the show. How are you, Tess?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. So my brains are here. We have open dialogue. We're all kind of going through something. You're in Canada. We are here in the US. And I tell you, when I wake up in the morning, I don't know heads from tails what is going to happen. But I'm finding that that's pretty much the situation around the world. Tell us a little bit about you and how you show up in the world.
Well, I tell you, there's a lot of things right now, I guess, that none of us really know what's going to happen. But I got to tell you, we spent a couple of weeks in the States recently, and it was wonderful. There was nothing different for us. Everyone was worried that we were, going to the States and there was going to be problems and stuff, but we really had a good time there. And being able to spend time with family was really important, right? And I think that that's the thing is like we need to remove ourselves from all of the things we can't control and enjoy our family and our friends and our wellness and what we're doing every day to take care of ourselves and just try to move on.
So you came here to the United States. Where'd you come?
We drove down actually from Regina. We went down to Chicago first, and then we spent our week in Indiana.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
It's important to have a sense of self and a sense of family. Chicago is a big city. There's a lot of stuff going on there. It gets a bad rap, but I like Chicago. I love the pizza. I love the shopping. What did you find different from where you are versus where you want to be?
Well, we actually came to Chicago. We brought, oddly enough, when my grandmother passed away, she left me a very large special rug. And we took it to Chicago. We found a special gallery that we could have it cleaned at. And it ended up that they weren't done it. So we had to leave it down there. So we're going to have to make another trip. But, really for us, it was a trip about family and, seeing all the family and seeing what people were doing down there and just visiting. We didn't actually spend that much time in Chicago. We were just there for the day. And then we went into Indiana. And in Indiana, where we stayed, it's just like a small town. It's beautiful. We were in Cedar Lake. And oddly enough, the neighbors had chickens in their yards. And so to wake up in the morning and have those chickens wake you up and like every day was amazing. And then if you wanted fresh eggs, you could just go next door and get them. Like I loved it. And that's exactly the small town community that we're used to in Saskatchewan, right? And so it wasn't like we were in this big, the big all of United States. We were just like in a lovely little town. It was great. And I had my very first ever Dunkin' Donuts coffee. We don't have that here. I had a coffee.
Okay. All right. Well, it's that small town flair that you want to maintain in a big metropolitan city. And again, I always say, I don't know who wants to pick on your baby brother, but that's how we consider Canadians and Canada. Were you born and raised in Canada?
Yes, I was born in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, which is just about 2.5 hours from here. I moved to Regina in 1995 for my employment, and I've been here ever since. Found a husband, got a family here, but lots in Saskatoon, in Alberta, and several in the States because of my husband. His roots are down there.
the weather won't bother you because it's cold. And Canada used to be my territory, and it's cold up in Alberta, so it's cold in Chicago. So you'll be able to make the transition pretty well. But what's your
Yeah.
goals? What's your aspirations? What do you want to do? What is your life mission now?
Well, I'm looking to retire. I'm in my 31st year with my employer. And I want to lead a more simple life, looking at just, taking care of my health and just doing what I need for me, starting to meditate, doing some master cleansing, just having some time for myself for thought, because every day is really busy.
It is, and it's time for reflection. And I think the simple pleasures. You said you're doing a lot of wellness activities as far as meditation and cleansing. I did a cleanse
Yes.
one time. I thought I was gonna kill myself. did I did one of those oral cleanse. You take a supplement one day, and then next day you take two, next day you take three, and
Okay.
it I didn't do it. So you really need to know what you're doing. You really need to work with a trained professional like Tess that is into health and wellness that can guide you and coach you through this. When you work with your clients, what do they have to look forward to?
I think that feeling better is the most important thing. Like when I do a master cleanse, it's supposed to be for 10 days. And a lot of people, you look and you think, oh, I can't eat, I can't not eat for 10 days. The longest I did was 30 days.
Wow.
And it's amazing. After you get past day three, your body you don't even crave food. And our 60% of our energy in the day is spent on digestion. So if you're not eating, that energy is spent on healing your body.
Mm, okay. Healing your body, but also, you have to be careful with that. And brains, and I have to put a little disclaimer. If you are under medical treatment, if you have a certain kind of condition where you require food, please go with that course of action. But we want to provide you options and choices and alternatives and be able to give you that message and that information. So, how long have you been in the wellness space?
I would say probably about 15 years. I started 15 years ago with Young Living. And, things just kind of went on from there. I've learned how to do Reiki, I do meditation, I do some spiritual work, I work with rocks and crystals, anything that a person can do for themselves. I do a lot of work with Louise Hay, affirmations, and I do believe that everything that we have physically is tied to something emotional.
It is. Let me tell you my Louise Hay story. I went to
Okay.
an event here in San Diego, and there was a reflexologist. And he said, "Oh, it seems like you need more work. Would you like to come to my studio?" And I said, "Okay." He said, "My studio's in my home." I said, "Okay." So I go to his studio, and I'm sitting next to this woman, and she is just pouring into me like no other. I mean, the frequency in the room, I felt like I was floating. And when I left,
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh my God, who is that?" And she was very unassuming. I had no idea it was Louise Hay. So yeah, yeah. And I was sitting there getting my feet done and just
Oh my gosh.
it
What a
started out
blessing.
very, yeah, it was very spiritual. And a lot of people are doing spiritual work now to raise their frequency, to raise their elevation.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
again, I believe that we are in a place of societal change. It's not
Yes.
just about humanity, it's about civilization. People are morphing into something else. Sometimes they're opting to be angry instead of being patient and being calm. They are opting more towards a frequency of a quantum physics than they are of a religious doctrine. They
Yes.
are looking at their diet and saying, hey, I don't think I need XYZ, but I'm looking more towards vegetarian, more towards
Yep.
vegan. Uh, and all of this is making sense. It's making sense. When
Yeah.
you work with your clients, what kind of instruction do you get them to prepare themselves for change?
I think a person can't just say, I want this. They have to understand what they have to do to get to it.
Right.
And the vibration is very important. The body's energy. I use color light therapy. Anything that we can do to make changes. What's very important is our speech when we talk about things. There's certain things that lower our vibration. There's food that we eat that lowers our vibration. And we're at the best when our vibration is high. Every day I put joy on my heart and harmony on my wrists every day, just to create that balance for me to go into any situation with love and respect, and to not blame people for some of the actions that they're doing, and to give a bit of grace and just let people learn how to make changes. And I think that a person really needs to learn about themselves, accept the fact that maybe what they've done or the way they feel about something isn't exactly the best for them. A good example is, anger, resentment causes, issues with kidney, liver, for example. And so, sometimes we have to just remember that we have to not only forgive ourselves, but we need to forgive others.
We do, and we have to be patient with ourselves because everybody's not there. Okay.
Right.
Sustainability. You have to be consistent with this, Brains. This is a lifestyle change. This is not something that you can do that's a quick fix. If you are dedicated to this type of work, if you're dedicated to this kind of holistic living, then you have to say, you know what, this is where I am at a pivotal point in my life
Yeah.
where I'm going to start anew. I had one of my guests on my show, and she was saying, you could get younger in 30 days. And I was like, well, let's tell everybody about this. Basically, same thing you said: kindness, forgiveness, grace, gratitude,
Yeah.
sustainability, being as clean as you can. And that's mind, body, and spirit. And how do
Right.
you exude that to other people? Sometimes people will go from a flicker to a flame. They
Yeah.
just, they don't give
Well,
themselves time to catch their breath. They don't
I
understand
think
what
it's
another person might be going through.
right. I think it's important too to forgive ourselves, because we all have moments, fleeting moments, that we've done or said something, and we know in our heart, deep in our heart, it's not the right thing, and it's not the way we want to live, and not the way we want to act, and we kind of fall off the wagon sometimes. And I think that forgiving yourself and making an effort to make changes is really important too, because we're human and we will make mistakes.
Right. And a lot of people are going through trauma, generational, epigenetic trauma that they
100%.
have not dealt with.
Yeah.
And so what they do is they push that off on others. They don't take responsibility for their own stuff. Brains,
Yeah.
we all got
Absolutely.
stuff. We all got stuff. We all
Hmm.
have bad relationships in the past. We all have
Yes.
had someone in our family that's either been to jail or done drugs or, alcoholism, or that might be something that we've been subjected to ourselves. But again, allowing yourself some grace, taking that
Yeah.
breath, stepping back and saying, you know what, this is life and life be life. So what are we going to do? How are we going to set ourselves up for success? There's something else magical that you do. You work with essential oils. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I went to, it was funny because I went to a trade show many years ago, and I just talked to a woman who said, "Hey, buy a kit." And I really didn't know anything about it. I was like many people when they first start this plant medicine, is that I just left my kit in the office, and I really didn't do anything with it. And then I started to learn. And I think what was important, and what I tell my clients, is that you can't buy a kit, for example, with a diffuser and oils and just know what's going on. So I always tell them to learn about two oils in your package at a time, slowly, and learn about them, and learn how to use them properly, and learn how to dilute them, and learn, what effects they'll have. And not every oil works for every person. And like you said before, it's plant medicine. You need to learn exactly what you're taking or using, or how you're using it. What I love about it is that I prefer not to take any over the counter medications or prescription drugs. I mean, there's a time and a place, but it's not my first place. I always go alternative first. And what that means, it's years of learning. It's not, you can't pick up an oil and go, "Oh, this will, save the world." You need to learn. You need to learn about it. You need to educate yourself. And if you're not sure, you need to check with someone before you start implementing all of these items. Now, one thing I have done that was easy to implement is putting our home in a chemical free stance. Like, I use cleaners and laundry soap and everything, like, in my bathroom, in my kitchen, that are chemical free. And that's really the first step. It's replacing what's there with items that are better for you. Then you can learn about, different things. I have a cough, or I have a bit of a cold, or a sore throat, or an ear infection. What might help you? And what I find really with a lot of this is that it's very important to learn what to use when. There's different products for different ages, and there's different like amounts that you should use. And you want to be really, really careful with that, because it can work for young children too, but they sure have to have it diluted, right? So education is the key. You must spend the time. It's not a one bottle fixes everything. You need to spend the time to learn exactly how to use it. And that's really been a big thing for me, is the education piece. We do classes. We talk to people about what's going on, and we give them suggestions. But like something as easy as a sore muscle, well, there's 5 or 6 different things that you can use. So you need to find out what's best for you, and then slowly put that into your daily use.
Let me tell you my other experience. I go to China, right? And I go to an herbalist, and it's a beautiful place. Everybody has on these white coats, and you see everything from dried mushrooms to roots to everything. So they have a tea for everything.
Yeah.
Your eyes, your skin, your hair. I bring some tea home, and me, greedy American, I get a mug full. Not one, but two. Next thing I know, I start hallucinating.
Yeah, it's
I
too
was
much.
like, yeah, I was like, what is this? My husband said, well, how much did they serve it to you? I said, oh, in a little about 4 ounce cup. Well, I had 8 times that much. So,
Wow.
Lance, you have to understand that Tess is very right. This is plant medicine. That all of the herbs and plants have a medicinal purpose. I mean,
Yeah.
people talk bad about marijuana. It's changed since back in the day, but Native
Right.
Americans have always smoked it. It used to make you happy, horny, or hungry. Now it does everything to, anxiety, sleep, weight
Right.
loss. But to me, that's saying that it is modified. Now, here in the United States, it's very popular that they microdose. They use psychedelic
Right.
mushrooms. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't want to be tripping off of that. That's something
Right.
that, I don't think that I would purchase over the counter, but that's me.
Yeah.
It just depends. All of these things have a purpose, okay? And you need to know what you're doing. You need to be uh, trained. You don't just go in and say, oh, okay, well, I'll take this off the counter and I'll try it. You might be allergic to it. Start
Right.
out small, get your information, and then progressively increase the dosage on what you're doing. Let's ask you some fun questions because we've done the deep dive. So now you've been to the Windy City in Chicago. Uh, you said you were only there for an actual day. What
Yeah.
is there? What is there something that you want to do? You say you want to retire, but what do you want to do? Do you just want to get there and embed yourself in the culture of the people and continue in your private business? Or do you just want to stay there and just be around family and cook some good scrambled eggs? What do you want to actually do when you get there?
Well, actually, we're not thinking of moving to the States.
Oh,
We want to move away to Brazil,
wow.
because I want clean living. I want to be in a community where I can go outside and to the corner store and get my fresh fruits and vegetables every day. And we love Brazil. I mean, the big cities, Sao Paulo, and those are way too big for me. I want smaller, but I almost want to be off the grid. I want to, you know, do more for myself and take the time that I need to. We want to go to the gym every day. We want to go, we want to do cleansing. We want to do healthy eating. We want to be, I hate to say it, but I think I want to be a vegetarian. Like I want to try it and just see if I can, how my body's going to react to that.
Right, right.
Because I have a lot of animal protein in my system, and so I want to see what that change is going to be. But I just want to not set an alarm every day. I want to relax. I want to go for long walks. I want to see the beautiful, aspects of Brazil. I want to go to Gazoo Falls, and I want to drink coffee on the beach. Like,
Well, you're going to get the best coffee there. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, is your husband in alignment with you uh, as far as health and wellness? And I know that probably his lifestyle he's wanting to change as well. But sometimes you got to bring the fellas along with us. They don't get it as quickly as we do. Did he get it right away?
absolutely. Actually, my husband had a rock and crystal shop when
Ooh,
I was doing the oils in the shop. So we kind of were aligned that way anyway.
oh, good.
And we plan this life out together, like what we're due from here. So, there's been some delays and there's been some steps we've had to change and things like that. But the end result is the same, absolutely 100%.
Okay. So I'm looking in your kitchen right there. If you're an appliance in the kitchen, what appliance would you be?
Well, I want to be a mixer. I
Mixer.
do. I want to shake things up, right? Like we're in the process, our home is an upheaval. We had my father-in-law lived with us for 7 years. We had a large place. And then the family put him in he went to a nursing home or it's outside, sorry, yes, assisted living.
Mhm.
And then we moved to a 2 bedroom. Then we thought we'd be out of here by now. So we moved into a 1 bedroom and we are constantly purging. I've sold all my furniture except for my computer and the desk and the bedroom, like, because I thought we'd be gone by now. And so now my husband has said, my dad is still alive. I don't really want to leave the country when he is. So we need to stay. And I said, that's great, but I'm not buying another couch.
Mhm.
And so, we are living very minimalist now, where I'm constantly purging. I pick a different area all the time. Um, and in fact, my kitchen is next because just to go through the cutlery drawer, I'm like, why do we have all this? So that's the next thing to go. We talked about it yesterday, but we are on the same page with most of it. Like I'll get rid of something that he thinks we should still have, and then we talk about it and we realize that, that's the thing to do. Interestingly enough, we had some friends of ours move from Vancouver or from Regina to Vancouver, and they put everything in their vehicle. And I thought, how in the heck did you do that? And they said, what you do is you pick up something that's in your home and you hold it and you ask yourself, does this bring me joy? And if you can't answer yes right away, you get rid of it. That's how they did it. And
Wow.
now, like, it was a small 4-door vehicle and I couldn't believe it. Everything was gone. So I've kind of been doing that with my purging. Why do I need 16 plates in my kitchen? Why do I need, 12 forks? Why do I need all these things? And slowly we're getting down to the nitty gritty. There's a few areas that are congested.
Yeah.
Um, but it's time. Like our clothes. I mean, my gosh, we have so many clothes. I
Oh
mean,
my
we have
God.
work
I don't even want to talk
clothes
about
now.
clothes. I was looking at my closet the other day and I was like, I am going to make a dedicated effort to wear every single thing that's in my closet. That's my goal for the next
Okay.
during the first of the year. Every single thing. And if I can't wear it, it doesn't fit, I leave it right then. I've got
Yeah.
shoes that have price tags still on them. To me,
Um,
that's wasteful. You don't need that.
no.
I have some other friends that have a tiny home, and you talking about cute. Everything is, the bench converts into a bed, a pull-out bed, and the table
Um,
folds down, and it is the cutest place ever. And she says it's so easy to clean. So a lot of young people, millennials, are in that mindset, as that they want to live a minimalist lifestyle. They don't want the big house, they don't want the big car, they want to be able to work from their telephone. They want just that freedom, that ease of use, that they can just pick up and go. So I totally understand that. What planet do you think that you align with in our solar system the best?
I would have to say Mother Earth.
Mm, okay.
Like God has given us so many things that are so beautiful. And I mean, when I ground I'm a part of it, right?
Mhm.
And it's separating everything that's going on around you to just have that moment of peace and to, walk outside in the bare feet and just ground.
Right. I do that at the beach a lot. My husband does not like sand on his feet. You know, but I told him, I said, well, I tell you what, we'll go to a beach now that has sand and grass. I said, you go over there and walk on the grass. I'm going to
Yeah.
go walk because it takes away the electromagnetic energy that has
Yeah.
been stored in your body. You need to ground yourself. You need to be able to touch the
Yeah.
earth. You need to be able to work in the earth and grow fresh vegetables. Let your hands touch the dirt. It's
Yeah.
there. It has a purpose. I'm a tree hugger. I love to hug trees and lay against a tree and do a meditation. There's wisdom
Okay.
that I feel, and there's energy that I feel that is exchanged that way. Um, if you were a car, what kind of car would you be?
I think I'd be a Volkswagen. Something simple that is very useful and can go a long way.
Yeah, Volkswagens last forever.
Yeah.
They really, really do. What
Yeah.
is your spirit animal?
I think it's a wolf, um, just because that's what I see a lot of. But I've also been told I was an eagle. So I think it depends on where you are in your life.
Right.
And I think that we have different influences depending on where, what's going on. So I think it's easy to be have movement.
Okay, well that's good. I'd be an elephant. I like them because they're big, they're strong, they have a lot of pride, they're a good parent. Um, they travel as a community. They love
Right.
one another. They never forget. And I just, there's something about an elephant. I was at the Yosemite, and there was a Native American tribe there, and
Oh,
they were teaching the children about the culture, about basket weaving, and the shaman there said, "I have two gifts for you." He said, "These are your spirit animals," and it was an owl and an elephant. And I
oh
tell
wow.
you, every time I connect to that, I really see and feel. So there's something to that. And again, I see that you're really into nature, and it just seems like this is going to be the perfect place for you. Tell my brains how to get in contact with you. I'd love for them to work with you, come on board, because wherever you are, whether you're there in Regina or you are in the suburbs of Chicago or in Brazil, you will be able to work with them through, you know, through Zoom or other opportunities there. You might be able to
Absolutely.
even offer some retreats that we can all come to in Brazil. Wouldn't that be
Yes,
cool?
I would love that. I
Yeah.
would love that. We had discussed medical tourism at one time actually in Brazil. But I do have an email address that I don't think will ever change. And it's tess.boehm@sastel.net. And I actually, you know what? Since 1995, I've had the same phone number. I just disconnected it last month. That was a big one.
Wow, I know.
That was
I
hard to
know.
do. I had a landline this whole time, and I swore I would never, ever, ever cancel it. And
That's
I
what I
did.
had a landline too, and I canceled it. When I saw that my landline, nobody called on it. I always did it for safety and security, but now
Yes.
it's all about the mobile phone. And so I just had
Yes.
to get used to having the phone next to me. But we will put all of your contact information in the back. Brains, please go in. You know, she's got time to schedule to talk to you, to give you, maybe 15, 20 minutes of her time to help you position yourself, outline, but build a relationship. That's the most important thing. Make sure that you're in alignment. Make sure that you're in synchronicity, that you are able to connect. And you do a wonderful job at what you do. You're very clear, you're very concise, you're powerful. And I see you doing great things wherever you end up landing. So I'm happy that you were here with us on the edge. Brains, go in and enjoy other edgy conversations. Love, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Love, like, share, and subscribe. We're close to 1,300 organic. I like it because it's organic. These are people that have really taken an interest in what we've done. I don't need the clickbait. Okay. I'm not looking for a million followers. I need some leaders, some influencers, some impactors, people that are going to work and reach out to Tess that have value. And that's what we're doing here. We're creating value. So thank you so much for being here on the edge. I think you're
Thank you
the
for
best.
having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Bye, brains. Take care of yourself.